Hey everyone, just watched the 11th episode of Voltron Legendary Defender's 8th season, Uncharted Regions, and expectedly, things are ramping up quite a bit. As the end of last episode showed, the discovery of Honerva's plans has come at a setback for the team. Allura is currently hospitalized, and that gives our heroes quite the disadvantage, with first Voltron not being able to be fully formed, and the Atlas being unable to move itself through projected wormholes. And barely in time after she's out of the fight, Honerva reemerges into normal space. It seems like she managed to move the Orion temples as starships, as a mobile headquarters, and placed it in some kind of pocket dimension, I guess. Just around this time, the Atlas has just now begun detecting her wormhole signature again, so they weren't just in a far region of space or something. But with her plans nearing completion, she reveals her own personal mech, Robeast, essentially. Wouldn't be the final arc of a 26-episode chunk of the series without the main villain providing that reveal. Kind of has some design touches seen in Zarkon and Lotor's, but also very distinct. Very thin, very slender physique. Kind of reminds me of an EVA unit. It has black and purple color layout, as well as this array of large, translucent, pink-purple blades that can be used offensively, defensively as a shield, as a sort of a channeling mechanism for quintessence, and also kind of a trans-dimensional lens to glimpse into alternate realities. And part of the danger that the Paladins and Atlas crew have realized with her plan is that at the basics of it, she's going to be forcing the natural process of the trans-reality comet ore, going through different universes, different dimensions, and that will likely leave some irreparable damage to every reality she passes through. So, the more she travels, the more she looks across these barriers, the more danger she'll cause. So, everyone has to plan carefully, plan quickly, especially with Allura not providing her skills at the moment. Pidge, Slav, and Sam Holt work on improving the Atlas weapon systems. Coran and Hunk travel via wormhole to a cosmically close by Balmera with its own distinct native population. In fact, differed from the past population and group we've seen, to harvest more crystals. The captive Altean pilots are gradually starting to regret their fanaticism, although they understand that there's still a threat they can pose due to them having their own quintessence entities inside them. So, basically all hands on deck, all capable hands on deck, as the end game approaches. Kind of noting past, well, plot and character elements from the season that I hadn't mentioned. We've had at least one regretful Altean pilot, or skeptical at least, while still piloting a Komar Robeast. She's been concerned about the lengths Honerva seems to go, about the line she'll cross to achieve her plans, and that continues here. Very much appears that Lotor has in fact died through the battle in the Quintessence field. From glimpses in Honerva's memories, it seems like his body is somewhat intact, but maybe somewhat decayed into the console of the syncline. And maybe through that, Honerva seems to have a psychic alchemical influence over the mech. So, yeah, the ominous, dramatic tone continues throughout. And again, the small pieces of comedy tend to come from Slav. Like, he's come up with a kind of a compulsion, realistically speaking, to help avert this likely reality collapsing event. Hop on one foot, count to 3, and shout out your favorite color, metal, or atmospheric type, I think he said. And he's even convinced Pidge to do that. Just giving the rundown of how dire things are and how supposedly this little idea could sort of link to the infinite web of probabilities to win things in their favor. I think I've especially mentioned her before, but another shout out to Cree Summers' voice acting talents, showing the unique evolution of her character with her performance. Like, original Honerva, very caring, very intellectual. Hagar, very mysterious, very sinister. And now adapting both of those previous lives into the current Honerva. She's often very authoritative, very straightforward, but still has some dimension of loss, of pain. But overall throughout it, she comes across as very cold, very distant. So providing quite the progression and endpoint for this character. So, see you in the next one at episode 77. I'm keeping that in to kind of own the mistake, but please disregard the past minute and a half or so. I still find Cree Summer to be a very talented voice actor with many enjoyable performances, including Hagar on this series. But I just now found out that the honor of voicing Honerva, past and present, actually goes to Lily Rabe. Sorry if I mispronounced the last name. Again, I follow the production of the show very, very casually, so I wasn't aware of that change in performer. And I didn't even put two and two together in noticing Lily's name on the end credits and not Cree's. So, I mean, Hagar does have more dimension to her than just some crazy cackling witch. Cree Summer provided, loyalty, obsession, frustration, quite a few angles to the character. But whether or not there was sort of consultation between the two during production, Lily Rabe is actually, on screen, is behind the dimensions of caring scientist turned grief-stricken warlord. So I guess that's basically it for this serious correction. Normally I would just wait for the following video to add details that I missed or little corrections in ways that I misspoke, but this is quite a misattribution, and I apologize. So, now we return you to your regularly scheduled Voltron vlog format.